Hi, students and parents. My name is Mrs. Warren, and I am your College and Career Readiness Advisor. Today, I'm going to take you through the college application process. I will work closely with you during your senior year to help you with this process, but I did want to make sure you had this information before going into your senior year and for the summer so you can begin the process. Alrighty, so here's just a quick overview. I'm going to talk about college selection and research, Naviance, finding a college match, college visits, the college application and review process, submitting your applications, official transcript requests, and letters of recommendations through Naviance, college admissions testing such as SAT, ACT, and TSI, and then lastly, paying for college, so the FAFSA and scholarships. The first step in applying to college is deciding on which colleges you would like to apply for. So that will begin with your college research. The college matchmaking process is about finding the college that is right for you. Okay, so parents, I know that we want to help our students, but remember to keep them at the front of this process. So first and foremost, it's about the student. So your college research should begin with about 10 to 20 colleges. This does not mean that you will apply to all 10 or 20, but at least researching these schools. This can be in-state and out-of-state, private or public. You can conduct online searches, campus visits, DHS college rep visits. And what I mean by that is, luckily, next school year, we will have college representatives come during lunchtime. So students will be able to visit face-to-face with college representatives. We will also conduct college fairs on campus and online, recommendations from friends or family, and then information sessions that might take place within the college center. Students can also use Naviance. Naviance is a great tool for college research, and you can begin with the Super Match, and I'll talk about that when I do my Naviance review. You can also use Big Future, which is an application through College Board. Once you've conducted your initial research, you can then begin to finalize your college list. I encourage students to have 1 to 2 safety schools. So these are colleges that you'll likely be accepted to based on automatic admissions, or it might be a community college, as students are automatically accepted to any 2-year colleges. 2 to 3 match schools. So these are schools that you're likely to be accepted on based on GPA, rank, maybe your courses you've taken, SAT or ACT scores, or extracurricular activities. And then 1 to 2 dream schools. So these are colleges that maybe you're not likely to be accepted based on GPA, rank, SAT, etc. These are not your automatically accepted schools, but a college that you have just loved and you would like to potentially attend one day. So for some students, this might be, University of Houston or UT or Texas A&M. For some students, this might be Harvard or MIT. So it's going to be different for every student. Continuing on, some decision factors that you want to look at to find your perfect college fit is the size of the school. So how many students attend? Where's the location? Is it out of state? Is it in state? Is it close to home? Do you want to stay within the Houston area? What kind of activities and athletics? Is it a public or a private school, co-ed or single sex? What are the entrance requirements? So the SAT, ACT, GPA, rank, courses that you've taken in high school. Maybe the facilities that are available to students, specific honors programs, faculty and class sizes. Is your major available? This is a big one. So do you want to be a veterinarian? You will know that Texas A&M is one of the only schools that offers that program. So you will have to really decide on which major you want to pursue or the career that you want to pursue, and then look at the colleges and see if those are available. What's the cost? This is, again, another big one. Some students will receive lots of scholarship money, and I really recommend going to the school that offers you the most scholarship money because college is incredibly expensive. Also, your public is going to be a little less expensive than your private school, so that's something to consider as well. What's the diversity of the campus, the support services, and then specific religious affiliations. How do I know if the college is right for me? So, of course, students should research the programs. I talked about the major, maybe going and visiting in person. Many universities in Texas are top-ranked programs, research, all opportunities that these campuses have available to students for undergraduate and graduate programs. And then smaller state schools, private universities, and out-of-state schools give lots of scholarship money. So you will start to realize that in-state public schools, so like UT, A&M, Texas Tech, Texas State, U of H, they are not going to offer as many scholarship opportunities as these smaller private or out-of-state universities. So keep that in mind. How do colleges review my college application? So they're going to look at tons of different things. They're going to look at the curriculum, your grades and GPA. Remember that Dulles High School does report the 100-point scale GPA. They're going to look at your SAT or ACT scores. Now, the great thing is a lot of colleges are going to continue with the test optional process, which means that you do not necessarily need to send the SAT or ACT for admissions purposes. They will require you to send after you've been accepted if you decide to do that test optional. That way they can exempt you from the TSI or determine if you need to take the TSI, and I'll talk about that further on in the presentation. But you know, SATs or ACTs, if you choose to send them, they can only help you. They cannot hurt you in regards to that test optional process. Okay, so I encourage students to still take the SAT or ACT, retest to improve those scores. I really encourage you to do this. I will note, it does say on this presentation that SAT subject test might be required. As most of you know, that in June, the June 5th SAT will be the last SAT for SAT subject and SAT essay. So you do not have to worry about taking the SAT subject test or the SAT with essay after June 5th. You will only have the opportunity to take just the original SAT. They're also going to look at activities that you've been involved in, sports clubs, community service, part-time jobs. Let's say maybe you weren't able to be actively involved on campus, but you were involved maybe at a local church, you volunteered, or you held a part-time job throughout your high school career. They're going to look at leadership. Leadership is huge, okay? So whether that is on or off campus or maybe within your job, they're going to look at that. College admissions essays, if they are required, most of the time they are not required, but some schools will require them. Recommendation letters, again, may be required or may not, so you'll have to conduct that research. But please note that if the school is test optional, they may require you to submit an additional essay and additional letters of recommendations. It just depends on the school's admissions process. And then an interview. Again, if required or recommended by the university, typically interviews will be conducted for your Ivy Leagues or your more prestigious campuses. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is what is required in the college application process. Okay, so what I spoke about before is what's going to be reviewed within your application. This is the actual college application process and what's going to be required. So the first step is to submit an application. After you submit an application, you are not done. You have a couple of other things that you have to complete in order to have a complete submitted application. So that's going to include application fees. You could qualify for an application fee waiver if you are on free and reduced lunch. So just keep that in the back of your head. I will discuss that further, or if you need more information on that, you can always email me. Schools will need your official transcript. So this is going to be sent beginning in September, and I'll talk more about that later. Test scores, so that's SAT, ACT, or TSI. Application essays, teacher letter of recommendations, and resume, and other recommended or optional documents. And they have little stars next to them because these 3 items are not always required for the application process. If you want more information on this, you can visit my website, and I will show you my website at the end of this video so you can get a good overview of what's available to you now. Automatic admissions in Texas. So these are students who are in the top 10% of the class are automatically accepted to all 4-year public universities in Texas. Now there is UT is top 6%. Okay, but please note that Texas does follow the automatic admissions for top 10% students. So that is a good thing. If you're automatically admitted, these schools would fall into your safety schools, okay? Just because a student is automatically accepted to a college does not mean the student is accepted to the program of study. And what I mean by that is you might not automatically be accepted to your major of choice. So for example, if you apply to Texas A&M engineering program, it is a holistic review process regardless if you are top 10%. So you may be accepted to Texas A&M, but you may not be accepted to the engineering program. So keep that in the back of your head. There are other ways that you can be automatically admitted to a school. So there are different automatic admissions policies based on the specific quarter. So if you're in the first quarter or the second, third, fourth, and you have a specific GPA or SAT and ACT, there's a good chance that you will be automatically admitted to those campuses as well. Private universities do not do automatic admissions, even if it's a school within Texas. So for example, Baylor or St. Edward's in Austin or Houston Baptist University, they do not do automatic admissions, okay? You can see the 2020-2021 automatic admissions chart through my website. Again, I'll show you how to do that in just a little bit, but if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to me about that. The holistic review process. So this is looking at the student as a whole. They're looking at every component of the application. Students not accepted based on top 10% or other automatic admissions policies will be holistically reviewed. So if you do not fall into top 10% or if you do not meet their minimum SAT, ACT, or GPA requirement, they're going to look at all aspects of the student's application. So the essay, resume, grades, activities, letters of recommendations, these are all super important. We recommend that students who fall in the holistic review process request an interview or at least reach out to the admissions rep that works with our students at Dulles High School. And you do have access to that list, and I can show you that again on my website. One thing that I want to note before in the previous slide is just because you are not automatically admitted does not mean that you're not going to be accepted. I have seen tons of students be accepted based on the things that they've been actively involved in, their essays, and other recommendation letters. So please keep that in the back of your mind that you can still be accepted even if you're not automatically admitted. Here are the different college application websites. You are first going to start with Apply Texas, okay? Apply Texas is where you will apply to all of your Texas public and most of your Texas private universities. So I know University of Houston and some other Texas schools do use Common App too, but I want you to first use Apply Texas if it's available. So if you are applying to any Texas school, please start with Apply Texas. That application is a lot more streamlined, and it's just an easier process if you start with Apply Texas. The great thing with Apply Texas is you can actually copy your application to a new application, so you don't have to redo the application every single time you apply. Common App has nearly 900 colleges, so this is the second most popular for our students. And then it only currently has 12 Texas universities. But again, if you're planning on applying to a Texas school, you need to use Apply Texas. Coalition is a lesser known application portal, is usually used for your University of Florida schools, but it also has other 90 public and private universities. You can apply to the university directly. So a lot of private universities will offer an easy application on their website. You can use those. And then a new application portal that I love is the Common Black College app. So this allows you to apply to 49 historically Black colleges and universities for a flat fee of $35. That is amazing, y'all. That's such a good opportunity. Most college applications can be anywhere from $25 to $75. So the fact that you get to apply to 49 schools for $35 is an incredible opportunity. Alrighty, so Apply Texas. Apply Texas opens on July 1st. Common App opens on August 1st. Okay, I would encourage you to start looking at the application process in July and then begin applying in August so I can help you through the process. Early bird gets the worm. That is true. If a college is rolling admissions, which means that they are accepting applications as they receive them, that they are admitting students as they receive applications, you can be admitted to college as early as September. So that's a good thing. You could be done. So rolling admissions is for most of the Texas universities. This means that, again, they're going to start reviewing and admitting students as soon as July 1st when the application opens. At the end of the application process, most of these spots are taken. So make sure that you start early so you can get one of those spots. It's easier to get accepted at the beginning of the process if you're not an auto admit rather than later. They like seeing students start that process early, especially if you're not an automatic admit student. Some universities require a student to be accepted to a university before the student can submit the university's scholarship applications. So please submit those applications early so you can also submit your scholarship applications early. I always recommend students submit their applications before or on October 15th. October 15th is typically the deadline for a lot of priority schools. So like the Texas A&M and UT engineering programs, October 15th is that priority deadline. Another priority deadline is typically November 1st. And then regular decision applications are typically due by December 1st. You will also see some deadlines of January 1st or January 15th. And then a lot of your rolling admissions, so schools that are accepting applications and reviewing as they receive them, will accept applications until March or even May at the latest. But make sure that you are getting your applications in early. That way you can be done early. Okay, here are the different application deadline types. You have regular decision, which is the majority of colleges you're going to be applying to. This is an unrestricted option. Rolling admissions, like I spoke about earlier. So most colleges that offer rolling admissions don't offer another way to apply. So they might not even offer that priority deadline. Applications are accepted within a large time frame. You can begin as early as August, and the deadline might be as late as May. And you're notified as soon as possible. With regular decision, it's typically, I will let you know that UT and A&M, they do have a regular decision deadline. They are not rolling admissions. Their deadline is December 1st. If you apply by December 1st, you will hear back between February and March. So early action or priority deadline, this means that you plan to submit an application early so you can receive a decision sooner. Early action simply means that you really like this school, it's one of your top choices, and you would love to hear as soon as possible. So if it's a Common App school, you will have the option to do early action. If it's a Texas school, it will be a priority deadline. Early decision, this is for your out-of-state or private campuses will offer early decision. The D means done. So this is a legally binding contract, meaning that you and your family must be okay with the money part of the school because it's highly unlikely that if you're accepted to ED, you can get out of it. So make sure that when you're deciding if you want to apply to a school early decision, for example, Rice University, this is your #1 school, and if you're accepted, you're going. You have to get the application signed by you, your parents, and your counselor saying that if you're accepted, you will remove all other applications and you plan to attend. Texas, like I said earlier, Texas public universities do not have EA or ED. They will have regular decision, priority deadlines, but they will not have that early decision choice. Okay, that's only for your out-of-state or your private campuses. Alrighty, so I spoke earlier about the application fee. There are 18 colleges on Apply Texas that do not charge for an application fee, so that's mostly your private schools. All two-year colleges are free applications, so HCC, Wharton County, it's all free. Application fees range from $25 to $75. Application fees are available to students, or I'm sorry, application fee waivers are available to students who qualify for free and reduced lunch. Okay, and here is some information on application fee waivers. So you can obtain an SAT fee waiver. You must have used an SAT fee waiver and taken the SAT exam using that fee waiver in order to receive 4 electronic fee waivers. If you took the SAT on April 13th here at Dulles High School and you received free and reduced lunch, I went ahead and gave you the 4 electronic fee waivers through your College Board account. You just need to make sure that the next time you log into your College Board account that you accept the benefits. Okay, you will have to stop, read the thing that pops up when you sign in, and accept your benefits to receive those fee waivers. Same thing with ACT fee waiver. You must have used an ACT testing fee waiver to take the ACT, and then you will have your fee waivers on your ACT website. We also have the NAC fee waiver. This is available by me, so you can ask me for this. Again, you have to qualify through free and reduced lunch. And all fee waivers are either emailed or mailed to the university's admissions office. This can also be uploaded through a document upload system. So after you apply to college, for each school that you'll apply to, you'll receive your student login. Typically through your login system, you will have a document upload system where you can upload these additional documents. Any further questions about fee waivers, you can just send me an email. So college admissions testing, ACT and SAT. The most popular is the SAT. We do offer the school day SAT to all juniors you would have taken on April 13th. We also offer the TSI, which is the Texas Success Initiative. I will speak more about that in just a moment. But again, like I said, all 4-year universities require either the SAT or ACT. But because of COVID, a lot of schools have continued on with the test optional process. So you might have the opportunity to submit your application as test optional. Again, they still will need your SAT or ACT scores to decide whether or not you are TSI exempt. All Texas public universities require a student to be TSI ready. You can be determined TSI ready one of 2 ways. You can either take the TSI test or you can be exempt based off of your SAT and ACT scores. Again, that's only for Texas public universities that you need to be TSI ready. So comparing the ACT and the SAT. Typically, colleges do not care which test you take, only which one you did better on. I encourage students to take both the SAT and ACT and compare your scores. They are different tests, so make sure you do your research on which one you believe you'll do better on. Students should focus on his or her strength and not necessarily the name of the test. Typically, we encourage students to take the SAT, but like I said, I encourage you to take both. So they're both about $45. If you're on free and reduced lunch, you do get up to 2 fee waivers. So you just need to email me or Miss Allison Pike. She's our campus assessment coordinator. We can both provide you with fee waivers if you're on that free and reduced lunch. You do have access to online studying resources for free, and you can register at the college, either on College Board or ACT student for the ACT test. So sending your scores to the college. You are required as a student to send official scores to the college through the testing website. We, counselors, registrars, we do not send the scores for you. You will have to send them yourself. Okay, so you can send them while you take the test. So if you take the test, you will get an opportunity to select 4 colleges for free. So automatically when your test scores are released, your scores will be sent to those colleges. If you do not select those schools up front, it will cost you $12 per school. Okay, so remember, colleges will not review your application until all documents are submitted. So if a college requires you to submit an SAT or ACT score, they are not going to review your application until they have received that score. Again, it is your job to sign in to your College Board or your ACT student account and send your college scores. During the application review process, the university will only look at the highest scores. So I highly encourage you to send them for free if you have the opportunity. I also wanted to mention that it does take a minimum of 2 weeks for the university to receive the scores if you send them from the College Board or ACT student website. If you send your scores for free, the college will receive your scores on the day that the scores are released. So if you plan to submit your scores on your own, just please keep in mind that it does take at least 2 weeks to submit to the college. So you will need to plan accordingly to make sure that you are submitting before the application deadline. Because remember, colleges require all documents to be submitted in order to review your application. Okay, so earlier I spoke about the TSI. The TSI is the Texas Success Initiative. Students are required to be TSI ready if they plan to attend a 2 or 4 year college in Texas. This is the College Readiness Benchmark Exam. So all college students, again, must be TSI ready, and you can be TSI ready based off of your TSI scores, or you can be exempt from the TSI with an SAT score of a 23, with an English and a math score of a 19, or an SAT exemption standard of a 480 on the reading and writing and a 530 on the math. So please keep those scores in mind as you are taking the SAT or ACT. You must have those scores in order to be exempt from the TSI. If you do not receive if you do not receive an exemption score, or you do not pass the TSI, you will be required to take a remedial math and or English course in college before you can take before you can take college level courses. Please note that the TSI is not a college admissions exam. This is not considered in the admissions process. This is only considered when registering for classes at the college. This is a college readiness exam, not a college admissions exam. Okay, so this is, again, not required to apply to school, but will be required when it comes to registering for classes at the school you plan to attend. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is official transcript request. All transcript requests are made after completing a college application, so not before and not during, but after you hit the submit button. The transcript request will be made through Naviance. Once the transcript request is made within Naviance, the registrar will see the request and then submit either electronically or by mail. If you would like an unofficial copy of your transcripts, students have access to these through Skyward under Portfolio. So at any time that you need an unofficial copy, you can view through there. College application transcripts are requested by adding a college to the colleges I'm applying to section within Naviance. I will review at the end of this presentation how to make those official requests in Naviance. Okay, so there is one difference. So Apply Texas application official transcript requests are made through Naviance and they are sent through TREX by the registrar. Okay, so again, you don't need to worry about sending them. It's all done by the registrar. If it is a Common App school, so if you are applying using the Common Application, the official transcript requests are still going to be requested through Naviance, but it is going to be sent by the student's counselor because the Common App also requires additional counselor documents such as your courses, the school profile, a counselor recommendation letter, etc. So please note that Common Apps, if you're applying to any out-of-state or private or prestigious campuses and you choose to use the Common App, your requests are still going to be made through Naviance, but you are also going to be required to email your counselor. Okay, they are not going to automatically see that you've requested, unlike the registrars. So you will need to also email your counselor in order for your transcripts to be sent to common application schools. Okay, I will show you on my website in just a little bit. There's a page that goes in more in depth about the Common App Counselor request and how transcripts can be submitted for Common App schools. If you're applying to a school through the university website or coalition or any other application portal, again, it will just be like Apply Texas. You'll make the transcript request through Naviance, and then the registrar will submit for you. The only difference is for Common App schools. Okay, and then in just a little bit, I will show you how to request those. So what is included in my transcript and when should I request it? So the initial transcript will be available for students or seniors to send beginning in September. This will include your 9th, 10th, 11th, and any summer courses and grades that you've taken will be included on this transcript. Okay, so let's say that you start applying to schools in July and you actually finish your application. That's great, but you cannot send your official transcript until September. We will be sending out emails and notifications when those transcript requests can be made within Naviance and can be sent to your schools. There's also a mid-year transcript. This will become available in January. So this will include your 9th, 10th, 11th, and first semester of your senior year courses and grades. You may choose to send your first transcript when the mid-year becomes available. So let me explain this. If you are applying to a school that has a deadline that is after January 1st, so let's say the deadline is not until March or even May, you really want to include your first semester senior grades on that transcript, you want your GPA or your rank to increase, you can apply to that school and wait to send your first transcript until the mid-year transcripts become available in January. Also, there are some colleges that require a mid-year transcript to be submitted in addition to the initial transcript. So you're going to think of those private and prestigious campuses. If they are required, you need to make the request through Naviance. If it's for a Common App school, you need to make the request through Naviance and also email your counselor a list of the colleges that require a mid-year transcript so those can be submitted as well. The last one is your final year transcript. So this will be available after you graduate. This includes all your grades and courses completed within high school. This is required to send to the college that you are planning to in the fall. This final transcript request will not be made the same way that your initial and mid-year will be. It will still be made through Naviance, but it will be completed through a mandatory graduation survey that will be available to students in April and May of your senior year. So you will be able to request those through a survey. Again, you'll be required to complete the survey whether you're attending college or not. And within that survey, you will tell me where you're planning to go to college and where you need your final transcripts to be sent, and we will send them when they become available after graduation. Who are our registrars? So we have Mrs. Melendez, she is our head registrar. Then we have Ms. Lounsbury, who is our assistant registrar. And you can find their contact information on this page if you have any questions about transcripts. So the next thing is letters of recommendations. So teacher letter of recommendations, Dulles High School teacher letter of recommendations, I should be more clear. Those requests are going to be made through Naviance as well. Again, I'll show you at the end of the presentation how to request those. But here are the steps to requesting those letters of recommendation. So the first step is to research the letter of recommendation requirements for each college or university that you're applying to. Not all colleges require letters of recommendations. Actually, very few actually require them. Think again, your private and prestigious campuses, those are the schools that will require them. Some schools have it as an optional task, and some schools do not accept them whatsoever. Okay, so you need to make sure you do your research to make sure that the college that you're applying to actually needs a letter of recommendation. Number 2 is you need to speak to that teacher in person. So I know that we've been online this year, but this next year, since we're coming back to school, I want you to talk to your teachers in person no less than 3 weeks before the deadline. So you need to tell them, I really would appreciate you if you would consider writing a letter of recommendation for me. Please provide your teacher with a copy of your resume. If for some reason you cannot meet with this teacher in person, you can email them, but please ask them before making the official request, okay? And then step 3, it says to follow up with the teacher via email and thanking them for that letter of recommendation, because it does take time. It does take quite a bit of time to write really solid letters of recommendations. Step number 4 is just submit your admissions application to the university. So before you can make a letter of recommendation request in Naviance, you must submit your university application, okay? Then step number 5 is you can submit the request within Naviance. So if it is a Dulles High School teacher, you are going to make the request through Naviance, whether it is a Common App, Apply Texas, Coalition, etc. All of those requests are going to be made through Naviance. The teacher will then submit it to Naviance, and it will be sent electronically to the school on your behalf. You cannot begin to request letters of recommendations until senior year, and actually you cannot begin to request them until September, when those first transcripts become available. Again, both Common App and Apply Texas letter of recommendation requests are made through Naviance. And then for more information, you can visit my website. And again, I will show you how to do that at the end of the presentation, how to request those letters of recommendations through Naviance. I do want to touch quickly, if it is not a Dulles High School teacher, if it's a professor, if it's another teacher from another school, if it's somebody from a specific organization or club that you've been involved in, those requests are going to be submitted differently. They are not going to be submitted through Naviance. You are going to have to do some research and decide how that college likes to receive letters of recommendation. So typically they like to either receive them through the mail so that the teacher or the recommender can mail them, or you can request or upload yourself through your student portal. So each college has their own student portal that they'll provide for you after you apply. And they'll have some type of document upload system that you can upload those recommendation letters to. But please note that teachers, Dulles High School teachers, are the only ones that will submit letters of recommendations through Naviance. Okay, the next thing is actually submitting your application. So the application deadline date includes all of the following things. Okay, so the deadline listed on the application is not the deadline to hit the submit button on the online application. It's the last day to have all required pieces of the application into the university. So that means that when you hit submit on Apply Texas, here, I'll give an example. So you're applying to Texas A&M, the deadline is December 1st, and you're deciding that you want to hit submit on the day before. At 11:59, you're planning on hitting that submit button. No, you cannot do that, okay? Because you need to have all of these documents into the college on December 1st. So that means that you need to hit submit on the online application 2 weeks minimum before the deadline, because you need to make sure you have your online application submitted. You need to make sure that your fees are paid or you've submitted a fee waiver correctly. You've submitted your essays if they're required. The official transcript has been sent in. Your test scores have been requested from College Board and or ACT student and have been submitted. And your teacher letter of recommendations have been submitted correctly. So all of these things must be submitted in order to have a complete application, okay? If an item is recommended, I like to say that it is required, okay? Especially if you are not automatically accepted to the university. If you are automatically accepted based off of your GPA or rank or SAT, ACT score, then I would not, then I would just leave it at recommended. I would not necessarily say that you have to submit additional items. But if it's recommended or optional and you are not automatically admitted, I would highly encourage you to send those items. Your admissions rate will significantly increase with those additional items. They can look at you more holistically. They'll look at every aspect of your application, including those recommended or optional documents. So just as a reminder, submitting your application does not mean hitting the submit button. Okay, it means submitting all required documents by the deadline. Private university application process. So private universities, you can usually apply directly through the website, and this is usually a free application. So for example, Baylor. This is a private university where you can apply through their Go Baylor portal through their website. You can also apply through Apply Texas, and typically that application is still free through Apply Texas. It's going to be a holistically reviewed process. It is going to be, you know, if you need an interview, you can also request that interview process. And then they are more likely to give you academic and need-based scholarships. So the private universities are typically a little bit more expensive, but they will also give you more scholarships. They have more money to give, so they could potentially give you more academic or need-based scholarships. You will need to complete the FAFSA, so I'll talk about that in just on the next slide. But you'll also need to complete the CSS profile, which is through College Board, and this is only for private universities. So you'll complete FAFSA and CSS profile for private universities. You do have to pay a small fee to complete the CSS profile, but it is usually required for private universities, or at least recommended to complete. Okay, so most important for our parents, how to pay for college. So the number one way to pay for college is through FAFSA. And actually, this coming school year, all students are going to be required to complete the FAFSA. If you do not complete the FAFSA, you will have to sign an opt-out waiver and submit that to me, your college advisor. Okay, that says I don't feel, that just states that you are not wanting to complete the FAFSA. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. This opens every single year on October 1st. It is based off of your parents' tax returns. And this is federal financial aid. So this will include any of your Pell Grants, your student loans, your work study programs, and additional aid from the colleges. The TASPA is Texas financial aid that is available to non-U.S. citizens. So the FAFSA, you must be a U.S. citizen in order to receive financial assistance. If you are not a U.S. citizen, you can apply for the TASPA. And this is just for Texas schools. The CSS profile is for private schools, and this is managed through College Board. They do require a small fee, but colleges are able to give more money by completing this profile. University scholarships. So whether the application is through Apply Texas or the university's website, you need to complete these scholarships if you qualify. These are typically merit-based, but they can also submit additional scholarships based on need as well. They will ask you most likely, though, to complete the FAFSA before they can award you any additional scholarship money. And then, of course, there are third-party scholarships. So these are some of the larger scholarships. We also have some local scholarships within Fort Bend, and then we have some Dulles High School specific scholarships, such as Walter McMeans and the SPIWAC Scholarship. You can find scholarship websites and opportunities through my website, and I will go more in depth in that, and I'll show you the different resources. So a little bit more about FAFSA. Again, this is the free application for federal student aid that opens every single year on October 1st. You will need to complete this during your senior year. This year, you will complete the 2022-2023 FAFSA. Please note that every single year that you are in college, you will have to complete the FAFSA. Students and parents will need an FSA ID to complete the FAFSA. You can create that ahead of time if you would like to be prepared. And then if the student is a dependent student, the student will use the parents' last year taxes, so the 2020 taxes. I will have a FAFSA parent night the day before FAFSA opens within In September, this presentation will be with me, and then we'll also include a financial aid advisor from one of our local colleges that will walk you through the financial aid process and get you ready to submit that application on October 1st. Please note that the priority deadline for FAFSA is January 15th. Okay, please complete this as soon as possible. Even if you have not completed your college applications, you can still complete the FAFSA. Okay, you do not have to complete a college application before you finish the FAFSA. Okay, so I recommend, even if you are not planning to apply quite yet, I would complete the FAFSA in October with your parents, and then I would complete your college applications, or vice versa, whichever you choose. Just make sure that you complete by January 15th for that priority deadline. Okay, so here is some contact information and some helpful websites. Again, I'm going to send this PowerPoint out as a PDF, so you can click on all of these links that are here for additional help. Okay, so before I take you through the Naviance overview, I want to walk you through the College and Career Readiness website. So I'll show you how to get there. When you go to the Dulles High School website, you'll click on Students and Parents, and then College and Career Readiness. And this is the landing page. So these are just quick links to some important things such as class of information, the Common App counselor request that I spoke about earlier, newsletters, scholarships, FAFSA information, logging in, how to request a transcript and letter of recommendation, etc., and then some information about me. So I'm not going to go through everything. Just make sure you're taking time today with your parent to just look through the different little tabs over here on the left. So anything that I spoke about today can actually be found through my website as well. So the one thing I did want to show you is the grade level checklist. Any presentations that I do can be found under presentations. So like this PowerPoint today will be through presentations. Also, if you click on seniors, so you are almost a senior, so you can follow this senior year timeline. It actually begins in the summer, goes to the fall, winter, and spring. And these are just some deadlines that you might want to follow in order to complete your applications in a timely manner. Okay, the next thing that I want to show you is the Naviance how-to page. So I recently went through Naviance, so I gave you a Naviance overview right here. So I am going to go through it today as well, but I do want you to watch this video if you have any questions about college research, how to request transcripts, etc. But this also just gives you information how to request transcripts, how to link your Common App to Naviance, which is required for Common App schools. I do want to show you career planning. So if you want to research careers through Naviance, this is a link, or I'm sorry, this is a how-to page on how to do that. College planning. Again, these are just steps to how to research the specific schools, how to find information, college plan by grade level, campus visits, GPA and rank, etc. So much. Here is the Common App counselor request. So like I said earlier, if you are planning to apply through Common App and you need a transcript sent to the college, you will need to make the request through Naviance and also email your counselor. In addition, you will have to link your Common App to Naviance, and you can click here to watch a video on how to do that. Here are the direct links to your Alpha Split counselors as well. Once you're ready for the college application, you can click on this link. Again, everything I talked about is here and provided for you. Transcript request, to know how to request a transcript through Naviance, you can watch this video. To request letters of recommendations, there's a video on that as well. And then again, just goes through the steps with you. College admissions test, so this is your SAT, ACT, and TSI. Testing information can be found here. I will update this for next school year. This is an older version. What's the difference between the SAT and ACT? How do I register? You can click there. This gives you all the important information on how to register. How to send my scores. So you might ask yourself, how do I send that SAT or ACT scores from the official website? You can find that here. Fee waivers, if you have any questions about fee waivers or how to access them, you can find them on this page. Scholarships and FAFSA. So here is the FAFSA page. So again, October 1st, that's when you're going to submit your application. This is an overview of the FAFSA process. Here is a financial aid quick guide. And then here is my scholarship page. So I do have scholarship opportunities that I post through this Excel spreadsheet. You can see these scholarships by universities. These are Applied Texas schools. Some scholarship websites, national merit, large scholarship opportunities. You can read through all these. How much does college cost? Okay, so finding out how much you will actually need for college is really important. If you're not planning to go to college, sorry about that. If you're not planning to go to college, there are some alternatives such as military, vocational certification programs, employment, or taking a gap year. You can research those different tabs. If you are planning on going to a 2-year college, there's lots of information about Wharton County, Houston Community, and vocational and trade schools. You can find different PowerPoints on here. Volunteering in clubs, if you want information about that. And I think that is all I want to touch on. Again, there is so much information on here, so please make sure that you are taking time to research it. Oh, lastly, there's a college application checklist that you can pull up, and this will help you. This is the one I want to pull up. So let me just reload that screen. Here is the checklist. You might want to print this out and use this as you are applying to colleges. Okay, so again, this is my website. If you have any questions, please either reach out to me or reach out to my website. It is a great tool for you. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to take you through is Naviance. Naviance is used for anything college and career. You are going to use Naviance quite a bit your senior year because this is where you will request transcripts from the registrar or from your counselors if you're using Common App. It's where you'll request teacher letters of recommendations for your college applications. You should be already using Naviance to research colleges and careers, but you are also going to use it quite a bit next year during your senior year to request these documents. Today, I'm going to provide you with steps on how to request documents and track your applications using Naviance Student. And then the why is accurately tracking your college application in Naviance Students will allow me and your counselors and the registrars know when and where to send your transcripts. It will also allow your teachers to know where to send the letter of recommendations to colleges. You will also have the ability to keep track of your progress. So has the teacher sent the letter of recommendation? Has your transcripts been sent? So just a quick overview of the college page. You can access this through your Naviance homepage. At the very top, you will see a couple different bars. The first one will say home, second self-discovery, third will say career, and then the fourth one should say college. When you click on the college home button, it will bring you to this landing page. This number 1 box is the Find Your Fit box. So this is where you will find tools such as Supermatch and Scattergrams to find a college that best fits you. Under Research Colleges, this is where you can dig a little bit deeper into college of interest using tools such as Scattergrams or Acceptance History. This is specifically Dulles High School students. Number 3 is where this is the Apply to College button. This is where you can add colleges that you're applying to, request your transcript, manage your transcripts, and letter of recommendation request. Box number 4 talks about scholarships and money. So this is where you can search and keep track of specific scholarships. Number 5 is the college visits. You can't really see it, but any colleges that come to Dulles High School, you will be able to be notified of those college visits through your Naviance account. Okay. I will also send messages about which colleges are planning to visit. We are going to have lunch visits from specific college representatives. So let's say you're interested in Texas A&M and you see that they're coming in September, you can mark your calendar for that visit. The last thing is this little help button. So this is the Show Me How. This will basically just give you a guided tour on how to complete specific tasks. So let's say you want help with scattergrams or Supermatch or transcript request. you can click this little button and it will take you through Naviance and show you how to complete certain tasks. This is the new and improved Supermatch. So if you do not know what Supermatch is, it's a great tool that you can find under Find Your Fit. It has these different categories: location, academics, admissions, diversity, institution characteristics, cost, student life, athletics, and resources. You can filter through these different categories to create your must-have list and your nice-to-have list. Once you have narrowed down your specific criteria, it will come up with a list of colleges or other institutions that fit you best based off of that specific criteria. Once you have your fit score for each college, you can click on the why button to tell me why it was a perfect fit. You can pin these and add it to your favorite list. Once you have pinned them, you can also compare them to other colleges. This is the college match. So this helps students discover colleges that are interested in students like them based off of specific features. So colleges looking for students like you. So colleges interested in students with the same criteria. So this was based off of your super match. Colleges that students who applied to your school also applied here. So previous Dulles High School students may have applied to A&M. Here's a list of schools that they also applied to that you might be interested in. You can favorite these schools. And then this last one is colleges that have accepted students like you. So this is recommended college based off your GPA and your test scores. You can add colleges to your favorite list. So how you go about doing that is if you're on your homepage under favorites, you can click on colleges I'm thinking about. From there, you can click on add colleges to list. From there, you can search different colleges through here. You can look up by state, or you can actually look up by like keyword and type in the school. And then number 4, this is how you favorite it. You just put a little, you'll see the heart icon and you just put a little heart next to it. And that will add to your favorite list. So this is the student college application flow. So if you are applying using Common App, you will need to match your Common App to your Naviance account. So this is only for those who are applying using Common App. If you are not using Common App, then you do not need to worry about this process. I'll talk about for those students who are not using Common App. So once you have matched it, it will automatically show up on your college list that you're applying to, but please just make sure that you double check. So if it's a non-Common App school, then you are going to add the non-Common App colleges to the college list that I'm applying to. So if you're applying using Apply Texas or Coalition or directly to the Institute, you will need to add those colleges to the college that you're applying to list. If it's through Common App, and once you match your Common App, those colleges will automatically show up, okay? Now, one thing I just want to say is that Common App is the only application portal that matches with Naviance, okay? And the reason it does that is because common applications require counselor documents versus other application portals do not require counselor documents. So Apply Texas, Coalition, etc., they do not match with Common App, and that's not an issue. It's just the way that this system works. So you'll add the college. You'll then request application and transcripts for Common App and non-Common App colleges via Naviance Student. So you'll request your transcripts through Naviance. You'll then request your teacher's letters of recommendations through Naviance Students if it's required. And then you'll need to continue to track the status of the requested items. If you are using Common App, you will need to follow a video to connect Common App with Naviance. You can actually click on this video right here in your own time, or again, you can find that through my website under the Common App Counselor Request. Okay, you will have to sign the FERPA release waiver within your Common App in order to match your account. Again, this is only for Common App users. So this is, again, super easy. I am going to skip over this part, but please note that when you are logging into Naviance, there will be a pink box, which I'll show you in just a second, that will ask you to match your Naviance account. Okay, if you are not using Naviance, if you are not using the Common App, then you can just ignore that pink box. Okay, but these are the steps in order to match your Naviance account. You'll go to Colleges I'm Applying To list. You'll select the hot pink Match Accounts bar, which looks like this. Okay, it is just like a little pink bar, and it says, it looks like you are not currently able to apply to Common App schools. If you, again, are not applying using Common App, if you're using Apply Texas, you can just ignore that. Okay. But if you are using Common App, you will select the match accounts. You will be required to type in your email address and date of birth. So right there, type in the original email address that you used when creating your Common App account, and then enter your date of birth, and then select match accounts. So again, like I was saying earlier, all your common applications will automatically feed into your Colleges I'm Applying To list in Naviance. So now you're able to request your transcripts and letters of recommendations within Naviance. Your counselor will then be waiting for you to email them, because remember, if you're using Common App, you must also email your counselor. So for those who are not applying to Common App, to add colleges to your application list, you will just need to click on Colleges I'm Applying To under My Favorites. Okay. It's going to be, you're going to click on this pink little plus sign. You are then going to search for the school. So make sure that you are typing in the name exactly how it is. Okay. Make sure you indicate how you are applying to the particular school. So some colleges accept applications through Common App, others accept it through a different method. So if you are applying through Common App, you would put Common App. If you're applying to Apply Texas or Coalition or through the website, you're going to put direct to the institute. You are never going to leave it at I'm not sure yet. You are always going to tell me how you are submitting your application. If you leave it at I'm not sure yet, your account will have a question mark on it. Okay, and we will be unable to send transcripts. So you need to make sure that you either select Common App if you're using Common App, or direct to the institute if you're using Apply Texas or another application portal. This is how you're going to request transcripts. So once you've added the school, there's one of two ways. When you are adding the school to your college list, if you have already submitted your application, you will select I've submitted my application and then add and request transcript. If you have just added the school and you are going back to request your transcript, you can always select at the top request transcripts, and that will allow you to select the school and then request the transcript. So requesting letters of recommendations. So if you go to Colleges I'm Applying To list, you'll select letters of recommendations at the bottom of the list. You will add the request and select the teacher from the list. Best practice is to always choose specific colleges from your college list that you're applying to. Okay. The reason I say that is because if you choose all current and future colleges I add to my college list, then that means that all recommendation letters are going to be sent to those colleges. But please note that not all colleges require them. So best practice is to select specific colleges, since many colleges accept a limited number of recommendation letters. It's also best practice to include a personal note, so make sure you do that. And then you'll hit Submit Request, and then Request and Finish. You can keep track of these items within your Naviance account. You can keep track of them through the Colleges I'm Applying To list. You can look at the transcripts. You can see if they've requested or if they have been sent. You can also keep track of your letters of recommendations by clicking on Colleges I'm Applying To, and then at the bottom, you can see where it says Select Letters of Recommendation Letters, and then you can see the column where you can review the status of where your recommendation letter is. Okay, so here's a little bit more in depth. When you are on your college list that I'm applying to, You can see under transcripts, if it says no request, that means that you've never requested. If it says pending, it means that the registrar has not sent or your counselor has not sent, depending on where you've applied. So make sure you're keeping track of that. The office materials could say pending, which means that maybe the counselor hasn't submitted your counselor documents, so keep track of that as well. And then lastly, you can always request more transcripts by selecting the request transcript button at the top. So these are the different eDocs delivery types. So you can take some time to look at this. The one that is big for me is the question mark. So this means that unknown documents. So you need to indicate how you're applying so you don't get this question mark. If you get this question mark, we cannot submit your transcripts. If it's a CA, that means it's a Common App school and that your counselor will send it. If it's a mail, if it's empty, if it's a CA with a line through it, or if it's a CA with a postage with a line through it, that means that it is not a Common App school and it can be sent directly through eDocs. This is some information on scholarships. When you go to the scholarship search, you can get there from the college homepage by clicking on scholarship list. You'll select the scholarship. You can add it to your applications, or you can select the national scholarship search for a listing of national scholarships that may be available to you. Alrighty, and lastly, these are some of your next steps. So you need to decide where you will be applying to. So you can start adding schools to your favorite list, researching through Supermatch, looking at the college match. You can review the application requirements for both Common App and for Apply Texas. And then make sure that you are able to match your Common App account after August 1st. Do not create an account for Common App until after August 1st. That is when the new application system will open. Apply Texas, the new application system will open on July 1st.